This will be the first lesson of the tutorial series where we develop an inventory system taking an inspiration from Zoho inventory management system. I've created a demo account for the purpose of this tutorial series with Zoho. Okay. And when you log in to the demo account, the first thing you see is this getting started with Zoho. Okay. You can take your time to go through the interface. You can equally explore Zoho inventory management system without creating any demo account by just coming to the landing page and click on explore demo account. Yes, so when you click on this explore demo account, it's going to open and you are going to see something very similar to what I have here on the landing page. So it is not necessary for you to create a Zoho inventory demo account. Okay, so in this first lesson of the tutorial series, I am going to cover as much ground as I am able to without making the video to be too long, especially for the some of us that are complete newbie in software application. So I will not want it to be complicated. Okay, so I am going to create a folder for the project and I'm going to spin up a fresh next 15 application. Okay, let me do that. Then we explore the filing system or the structure of the next 15 application. I will explain few things, then I will get started with designing the interface that we see here. Hopefully, I am going to be able to cover the navigation menus with these icons that we see here and the side navigation menu that we see here. Yes, let's see how far I will be able to cover in this first lesson. Simply create a new project folder. I will call it Stockify. Okay, after creating the folder, I have just right click on the folder and I'm going to CMD into the folder. Okay, once I CMD into the folder, I am going to use code space dot to open a VS Code, a fresh VS Code interface where we can begin, where we can spin up a new Next.js application. So I am going to come here and let me open up my terminal here. Okay, I've just opened up the terminal and the shortcut I use on my keyboard is Control Shift and the backtick keyboard. So I am already in here. It doesn't. You can use any whatever way you you know best to get into the folder. Okay, so coming here, spinning up a fresh Next.js application requires that we create the app using. This is where you get a command actually. By going to nextjs.org, you can simply get the code. And this is the code that you need to create a fresh Next.js application. So it is simply npx create next app at latest. At latest meaning that we are creating the Next.js application on the latest version. Okay, supposing you want to create using earlier versions, we were going to just simplify, say at the whatever version that is it, maybe 14, 14.5, whatever it is. So we are using at latest, which is 15 point something there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is to click enter to run, to begin the process. Okay. So depending on how fast your machine is and your internet connection, that is what is going to determine how long it takes you to actually spin up a new Next.js application. Okay. And you are going to present it with all of these prompts. Okay, so create a new, create next app 15.3.3. Click Y to proceed. I click yes, Y and click enter. Okay, majority of the prompt, I'm going to say Y. This is where I give a name to the application. Remember that I am already in my in the project folder, so I can just click a dot to continue. So it will be named as using the folder name that was created originally. Okay. The next question is, will you like to use TypeScript? The auto is no, and I'm going for no. We are not going to use TypeScript for this particular tutorial. ESLint, yes. Would you like to use Tailwind CSS? Definitely, we are using Tailwind CSS. Would you like your code inside a source? I personally don't like source directory in my application. I will simply use the app, so I go for no. Okay. Would you like to use app router? Definitely yes. Would you like to use turbo pack for next dev? This is the new intent, so it makes it our application to compile faster. So I go for yes. Okay. Okay, we simply go for the default. Okay, go for the default, except on the JavaScript, on the TypeScript, where I said no because we are using JavaScript for this particular. Okay, let me pause. Okay, the next app is done initializing. Okay, so let's quickly explore the default, what the default app looks like. Okay, because I didn't choose the source directory, so no source directory is created in the project. Rather, we have app directory and we have all of these. Okay, so in the public folder or directory, this is where you have all the resources in terms of images in a next app application. And our app directory is where we have all our components, pages, layouts, and our styling. Okay, by default. Although you may restructure it, but there's no reason for any restructure here. Okay, so let me go to the layout. Look at what the layout looks like. It's a bare structure. And look at what our page looks like. Okay, let me run. If I go to next, package.json, this is where all the packages and the dependencies are recorded. Are installed. Okay, so we are able to see what they are. Okay, as it is now, we only have our React 19, React DOM 19, Next 15.3.3. Okay, so any and every other dependencies, npm packages that we need to use in this project, we will be installing them, and we already have Tailwind installed as a development dependency. Okay, And in this project, by default, we are using Tailwind CSS version 4, which is the latest. Okay. So to continue with our project, maybe it is a good time for us to install 2 other packages that we will need in this first lesson of the tutorial series. Okay, so we will simply install them by using this command, npm I for install. We can as well equally type the whole install. Okay, npm I framer motion, lucid react, and react icons. So I click enter. So this shouldn't take long. They are just very light packages. Okay, so once these are installed, okay, then we can continue with creating our project. While it is still being installed, let's go back to the Zo inventory system. Okay, so this is what the inventory system looks like at once you logged in. Okay, this is the dashboard, and this here we have the announcement, and here we have the recent updates. Like we saw in the introduction to this tutorial, the one we did before this first lesson of the series. Okay, in particular. So let me check whether yes, all our packages are already installed. So we are good to go. So once they are installed, we can revisit our package.json. We can see now we have framer motion, we have lucid react, and we have react icons. I am going to show you, you are going to see how we utilize, or why the reason why this lucid react is needed, react icons, and the framer motion is are needed as we continue in the project. Okay, so now that we have this, okay, I want us to take it structure by structure. This part of the application, the menu part here, we are going to create it. We are going to equally create these navigation sidebar of the navigation panel. Okay, let's begin by, let me go to our application. Okay, so all the files and folders that we need for this particular project is going to reside in the app structure. The other resources that we are going to need would be in the public, which are basically going to be our images. Okay, so we go to the app directory of the tutorial, app directory of the application. And in case, let me try to zoom. So I just try to improve on the boldness so that people can see it. We can see what we are working on. Okay, so I need to come to this app directory of the application. Okay, in here, I will create a folder. Okay, and I'm going to name that folder that is on the root of the application, inside of the folder itself. I want to create a folder, and I want to call it components. React project and Next project are component-based application. Components are those smaller units of the application that knit together to form the larger application. You are going to see what component looks like as we continue. So I would like to create all my components, okay, in this component folder. It's a best practice so that you are able to manage the application in case you are building a very huge application. Okay, in this our case, this software is a little bit big. Okay, so I've created the component. So inside of my component, I'm going to create, component folder, I'm going to create a few components for this first lesson. Okay, but before we go there, let's go back to the project. Okay, here we see, okay, so I would like us to start by creating this part of the project, like I said, and but before we do that, let me bring up the terminal again, and let's spin up our project. Okay, let me close this this side, so that we have, yes, we have better view. Okay, so to spin up our project, we are going to use npm run dev. Run this in your terminal, so our project would run. So once the project runs, we will be able to see it in the browser. So we can check what the project looks like in the browser by visiting localhost port 3000. So our next application runs on port 3000 by default. And by the way, one of the dependencies when you are setting up the environment for this for a next application is that you should have Node installed on your computer. Okay, I'm going to leave a link in the description of this video where you can download the appropriate Node application for your project. For your operating system. Okay, so here we have, this is the project. This is a fresh installation of Next 15 application. Okay, it's an app router. Okay, so we have this. Okay, so to begin to build our project, we need to just clear everything that is here. We need to remove it. Okay, where do we get that? We need to go to our app directory and go to layout. Okay, you see in the layout. Okay, so in the layout, let's quickly do some cleanup. This is where you give you change the title of the, or you give title to your application. Okay, let's call this one inventory management software. Okay, and in the description, I'm saying creating an inventory management system or software. Okay, maybe we say just, yeah, here we can change this anytime in the metadata of the application. Okay, so in our layout, in the layout of a Next.js application, this is where all the components, this is the root, layout of the whole of the application, Okay, so we have this. I will be explaining more on this later in some later videos in this series. Okay, the next page, or the next point of reckoning is our page. So in this page, okay, in the app directory, we have our layout layout.js, and we have our page. Okay, what we saw here in the interface, it's actually, this is where it is defined. So I would like us to remove everything that is here. We are going to remove everything that is here, and so that we have something that is minimal, bare minimum. Actually, even on this, we are going to remove everything. Maybe not item center. The item center can still be there. Let's remove everything here. Maybe to make our life easier. Let me just remove from here all of these that are not, we are not going to use, that we are not going to need here. Okay. Okay, let me leave it as screen. Okay, but for us to see what we have there, probably I should just throw in this, and let me call it inventory management. I'm used to using software. It's a system though too. Okay, let's see. Where is my terminal? We now have more than necessary terminals. Let me leave one. Let me clear this. So this is where it is. We are running the app actually. Okay, so the app has been refreshed. Look at what we have now. We are simply having an inventory management software. Okay, but I would like this to come to the center. Okay, and this is going to be representing our landing page for now. Okay, so to make that to come to the center, let me go to my page, and let me quickly add some Tailwind CSS classes. I'm going to make it flex column. Okay, and the minimum height, I think it's already there. Yes, minimum height, which is off screen. The justify center is already there, and that's it, because we already flex column it, and we are justifying item to the center. Let me refresh our application. Okay. Let me just use item. Oh, item center is now 2. Item center, minimum of screen, item center, justify. We need to justify it to the center. Yes. This will make this text to come to to be aligned to center, both vertically and horizontally. Okay, I would like to put a link here, okay, that will take us to the dashboard. Okay, consider this as the landing page of Zoho before you log into this. Okay, so then we should have a link that once we click it, we get to the dashboard, because we are not going to be implementing any authentication functionality for now. So we go into, so let me quickly just put a link. Okay, to put a link in, which is navigation link in, we will not be needing this for now. So to put a link, I can just simply come below here and put a link. Okay, you see, once I do that, I am going to get my link imported, okay, automatically. I need to close like this. So what do I want to put in the link? Let me just say, go to dashboard. It takes us to the dashboard. Okay, but link is a component, is giving us link from Lucid React, which is not what we need to import link from. We need to import link from React link. Okay, not we need to import link from React link. This is the link that is going to work for us, and we are going to throw in these params, and I will like us to. Okay, now, sorry, this is where you define. This is where you define where you want this link to take you to. Okay, and for this particular project, we are going to be linking to our dashboard home directory. Okay, and this is because, let me show you, this is because as much as possible, we want to follow what we have here. Okay, and if we come here, we have home, we have inventories. Okay, inventory dashboard. We are going to be naming the project as much as we can using the same structure as they have here. Okay, what we are not going to have is we are not going to have these numbers. Why? Because this is just a unique account, unique identifier for my particular account with Zoho, since it is created like this. I hope you guys are understanding it. Okay, so for now, and it doesn't mean we cannot change the structure of the application as we deem fit later, even in this series. We can always do that. Okay, but for now, let's keep it as is. Okay, so we go to this one will take us to dashboard. Let me make this to be small letter. So dashboard slash home. Right now, it's not going to do us anything. Okay, it's actually complaining. Okay, what is coming here? By the way, let me even remove this Lucid link, because we don't need it for anything. Okay, so then this one takes us to the dashboard. Okay, yes, we are. Oh, yes, we should be importing from next link. It's next link, not React link. Okay, then this error should disappear now. Okay, there is still an error. What could be causing that? Yes, we have our href. Let me see if the problem is persisting. If the problem persists, trying to figure out where the issue is coming from. Okay, we are importing link from next link, which is okay. Okay, our href, where is the issue? Element type is invalid. Okay. Line 7. Okay. So the error was coming from the link, because I tried to import it, so it was coming from Lucid React instead, which is not the link that we require. So we need to import it, okay, as import this link, okay, as a default function, okay, not as a constant function. That's why it should not be inside of the curly bracket. Okay, so we have this, and so our application would then work as a navigation link. Once I put my cursor into it, we can see from the bottom left of our screen that we have a link taking us to our dashboard home. So right now, if I click on this, it's not going to throw 404 error, not found, okay, because that route is not existing. This one is not yet existing. Okay, so our application is on its way. So if we want to click on this route and we get to go to a dashboard, we need to go to the app structure, app folder of the project, and create the folder as needed. That we will do in a moment. So I will create the structure, the skeletal structure of the application, and I will explain why we have it the way I want to structure them. Okay, so the next thing is for us to go to this app. Once we are there, we want to create another folder. In this folder, I am going to call it backend. This is where we are going to have all our backend files resides. Okay, and I put it in a parenthesis. The reason why it is kept in a parenthesis, I will tell you shortly. Let's just have it for now. We put it in a parenthesis, and I then go in again to create another folder. That folder would be called dashboard. Okay, and inside of this dashboard, I am going to then have some. I'm going to have some other folder as well. Okay, so look at it. In my dashboard, I want to create another folder. I'm going to create 3 or 4, let's say 4 more folders. Let me just simply show you those folders. We'll be creating a home directory folder. I'm going to I'll be creating the dashboard, getting started, announcement, and recent updates. Okay, so this is where those folders structures are coming from. So I'm coming back here. So in my dashboard, I've just noticed that my dashboard is not correctly spelled. Let it be renamed. Our O is here instead, and there is A is coming here. So I've just renamed the folder. So inside of this folder, I want to create another folder. And we said we have announcement. Okay, I'm going back to inside of the dashboard again. I need to create a folder called getting started. Okay, inside of this announcement, in the dashboard directory as well, I want to create recent update and home. Okay, home folder and recent updates in our recent updates. So those are coming from here, home, and this. Okay. Now that we have this, uh, because next application is a file-based routing system, it uses a a file, uh, a folder-based routing system, which means if I want to click on a particular, for instance, if I want to come to this home and I want to see on my URL home/inventory dashboard, what it means is I'm going to create a folder called home, create another folder called called inventory dashboard, and inside of this dashboard, that is where I'm going to put the actual page that is going to display the content to the user. So, and by the structure of next application, that folder, okay, must contain a file which is a page file. Okay, so we are going to just simply put page, okay, dot JSX. We will be using JSX. We will speak more on why we are using this JSX. It's just for us to be able to the syntax that our JSX structure follows enhances the way we are able to structure and put in our data. Okay, so we are going to be using JSX extension. Okay. So inside of here, I'm going to write using this code snippet RAFCA, okay, which is simply just going to put my page in here. And by the way, that is using an extension which we are going to talk about later. Okay, so let's just have it as it is for now. We have this, and since it's announcement, we can just simply call it announcement. Okay, I'm saving it. We are going to repeat the same thing for the other ones. We are going to create a folder. Otherwise, I can simply come here, page.jsx. I can paste what I copied there, and I can change it to getting started. Okay, no, there is a problem here. Let me select this. I can replace getting started on all the three. This one I can space it out. So let me come home and create a new, just do it like this, page.jsx RAFC, and here I'm going to, let me just say home. By the way, this home is actually dashboard, right? It's actually dashboard. Okay, you can actually choose the way you want to name it. Okay, otherwise we can call it dashboard, we can call it home, as you choose. Okay, and so what is happening next is our recent update. Let's put a file which is a page.jsx RFC, and this is a recent update. We can say is updates. Okay, so far we have in our app directory, we have a backend which is inside of a parenthesis, and we have a folder called dashboard, and inside of dashboard folder we then have other folders: announcements, getting started, home, and recent update. And each of these folders then contain a page.jsx file, which is going to present the actual content of those of those folder when they are visited. Okay, which comes in terms of routing. Okay, in Next.js application. The routing system in Next.js application, like I said earlier, is a folder-based routing system. So if we then come here to our project, okay, our project is home. It's coming home here. Okay, and by the way, this home, you can see, if you look at the URL here, we have dashboard home. Okay, so with the dashboard home that we have our home that is typed in there. So I can close all the other ones and come home and say home dashboard home page. Once I type that in, that you see, no, it's supposed to show dashboard. Yes, upon refresh we have dashboard home page. Okay, now that we have this, we already have the bare minimum skeletal structure of our application. So we are going to go into creating some components, okay, that we are going to bring into our back end page. Okay, so let me close on this. Let me close on this. And again, what I need to explain here is from the component that we need to create now, we need to go to we need to come here where we have our component, folder, which is actually outside of the app directory. So it's fine. Let me come here and show here what we then need to be creating. Okay, we need to create these navigations with all these icons, and we need to create our left bar or sidebar. Okay, so I'm going to try to, as much as possible, to structure these out and explain as we go along. So I am going to be creating the components. Okay, at first I will only create the components, then I will then flesh it up later. I will create the component, we'll hang it up to our home, our dashboard home page, right? Okay, then I will then begin to write more code to read to bring it up to what we actually want. Okay, so I'm going to create the first component that I will create here will be the sidebar, okay, .jsx. That will be the first, and I'll be using this code snippet of REFCE to create a React component, okay, a component for me. Okay, so I have this, and we have it as sidebar, right? Okay, probably we should just create the other ones. We have that. So our sidebar is going to be used on the sidebar. Then we are going to have another one which I will call nav bar, which is navigation bar .jsx. We are going to again use this, which is nav bar. We have it as nav bar. The other ones are going to be the search input. You see, here we have a search input. Although there are so many ways to do this, it depends on how you want to structure your application. But for me personally, I prefer following the best way, best practices, which means I can have as minute component as possible. Then I will couple all of them together. So this is going to be uh, created separately as a component, which will name it search input. Let me name that to be search input dot .jsx. Okay, and sorry, RFC, to create us our React functional component. My search is not correct. It's okay. It's okay. Delete this, then change it here. So we now have our search input component. Okay, all of these things are just being bare. Probably I will need more components. Uh, okay. What about having because the thing is on here where we have our sidebar would have these menu items, okay, that are that it will be attached to it. Okay, because of the complexity of this menu, I think I would like us to I would like to create a separate component for it. So okay, probably it will. Okay, let's just continue and see how it played out. Let's continue and see how it played out. For now, so I have it as this. Okay, let's continue to put something together. Okay, so in our when we come back to our main project here, we have what we have here. Let's go back to our app. Okay, we have our dashboard homepage. So in our dashboard homepage, as it is now, it doesn't have any style. Okay, and it would be good if we can just put this thing into its own layout. It doesn't have a particular layout, I wanted to say. Like the O app is having this layout. Okay. And this layout, it works for all of the app put together. Okay. So because when you come here to this app, let me click on this. We can see when I click on this, we load another page. If I go back home, I load this, I load this, I load this. You should notice that all the components that are here on the layout and everything that is here on the sidebar are constant. Okay, they are generally used for used irrespective of the page that we are visiting. So these ones are being maintained, right? So it means it's coming with a particular, they are using the same layout, so to say. Okay, so for that reason, I will simply go and create a layout page in the apart from the global layout that we have here. Okay, we would have another one inside of our dashboard. Okay, we have another one inside of our dashboard that is our dashboard is going to use. Okay, so I come here and I go to the dashboard. Inside of this dashboard, in where we have all the other folders, then I put a file. I call it layout. okay, dot JS. Okay. Okay, inside of this layout, what do we need in the layout is simply uh, run a, I'm going to run a default function layout as we have it here. Okay, so once I have this, I am going to bring in the children props. It's going to have children props so that whatever that we have inside of these, all the folders or all the files and folders inside of this dashboard, okay, would utilize the same layout. So all the children would belong to it. Okay, so what I need to do there is just to bring in the children prop. Okay, and we need to have a particular structure. Okay, and the structure that we are going to have here, maybe for now, let me just put a background. Okay, background gray of probably 100, something light. Okay, so now I am having this function. It is being exported as a default function, and the name is let me name it as layout. Okay, with a capital L here. Okay, you can see because this is following root layout. It's just a better way of coding to have it so. So how now we have this. So our layout, okay, is going to be applied to everything in the dashboard. Okay, if we go back to our application and if I refresh it, we are having this. You will see there is a tiny light gray across the project. We will see how this is used as we continue with the project. Okay, but I know that that layout is now being applied. If you want to prove me wrong or right, let's say indigo. Let's say indigo 800. You can see. Okay, just to make it obvious. Otherwise, let's revert to back to gray light. So every other thing that we want to apply to this layout of dashboard can be used here. Then we have our app as it is. Okay, so let's continue. I'll continue to. Okay, now, what should be our next step? Inside of our dashboard, we have our home page. Okay, so the home page is the one that is displaying what we have here for us. So I then need to go to my page, my home page, and instead of just having this home page, I will be bringing in some of those components that we created, the component that we created inside of like our navbar, our sidebar, our site search input. It's time for us to bring those in. So in our page.jsx inside of our home route, we are bringing in all these imports. We are importing navbar, sidebar, search inputs. They are all coming from here. Okay, and we are importing them without the curly brackets here. Why? Because in the actual component, they are exported as a default. Once a component is exported, export default navbar in this context, okay, we are going to only be able to use them in another component. okay, by simply importing them as constant, like, I mean, as a default as we have them. Otherwise, if we export, if it was exported as export cos navbar without having this part of it, we were going to be exporting this navbar, okay, as put it in a curly bracket for us to, I mean, yes, in this type of bracket or parenthesis for us to be able to use it. Okay, so now that we have imported all of this, let's just put them, okay, in this in the main component, home component, and so that we are able to see. Okay, so now when we go to, let's go back here, we still have it as it is. Okay, now let's do something different now. I'm going to okay, maybe let me just import them first. I'm going to I want to now import the sidebar. Okay, the sidebar is already there. Let me put in the navbar, and let me put in okay, which other one? We have the search input. Okay, our search input is going to go into our navigation bar, so we don't need it here. Okay, so if we don't need it there, what it then means is even in my import, in our import here, search input, it's not needed. Where we will need it is inside of the navigation bar. Our navigation bar is the one that is going to be here. Okay, these ones are going to represent our navigation bar. So let me go to my navigation bar instead and import this search input. Okay, and we leave it as for now. Okay, so then I can then rightly go into my sidebar and do whatever I want to do. Otherwise, maybe for now, let me structure, since we can have here, we have our sidebar and navigation bar, they are stacking on top of each other, instead for one to be to the left side and this other one to come to the right side. So what we can do now is to just give a small, put in some Tailwind CSS. Let's flex this. We now have both side by side. Okay, and we don't even need any gap here. Let's just let it be. So let me go back to my navbar and let's focus for now on our sidebar. Let's focus now on the sidebar. Okay, here is our sidebar. So in our sidebar component, we will simply need to go to our sidebar component again, and here what we need to do is to here we'll be needing to do a lot of imports. Okay, some of the import that we need to apply here will be coming from, okay, some of the imports. Oh, what am I doing? What am I doing? Okay, let me undo it. Yes. What I wanted to do is to import. So here we'll be needing to import some of some component. Use path name is coming from next navigation, and with these are just coming from Next application itself, their default packages. Okay. Motion, we'll be taking motion from motion, framer motion. We need motion from framer motion, and we need animate presence. This will be equally coming from framer motion. And another component that is needed here is use router. We need use router coming from next navigation as well. Okay, then we need a link. We need link from next link. Why are these needed? We will see as we proceed. Okay, so in my there are still some more import that are needed, but for now, let me keep it as what we have now. And let me try to maybe style. Let me try to style. Okay. And probably before I style, I would like to change this one to a side semantic. If we use nav, it's still okay. Everything is still going to work fine. Whatever I do or use here is just kind of, let me still put it sidebar. Okay, so in our semantic here, let's throw in our class. I wrote something wrongly. Side is not side, is aside. That's why it's complaining. Okay, so here let's throw in our class name. Sorry, our Tailwind CSS classes. So the first thing is we are going to make it flex, and we are going to make it flex column, such that our application, we are going to have something here. Okay, and we are going to have all these menus, okay, line on top of each other. Okay, so I will be using flex column for that. And for this, for my navigation sidebar, let's make it to be 15% of the screen when we are on desktop. Okay, and the minimum height, okay, I should pick it. H screen. You know, sometimes when you are trying to be too quick. Okay, H screen. Okay, that is the height will be screen to take the whole height of the screen that is being used. Okay, maybe we give a background of gray, BG gray of 900 or 800 or thereabouts. Okay, so let me see what we have here. We are still having an error. You are importing a component that needs to use path name. Okay, use path name, which is here from React Navigation. Okay. Oh, okay. That's cool. Guys, sorry, because this is a next application. Is a next application. So we have to declare. We have to be specific in our declaration here. It has to use client. Okay. And because we will be using some menus, and we are going to need even more. We are still going to need our, for state management, we are going to need this hook. We need that hook from use state from React. Okay, if I go back, yeah, there should not be any shout again. Now, guys, you can see that we have a sidebar and we have a nav bar. Okay, this nav bar is going to be this one, and our sidebar is going to be this one. What we now have here is this is made possible because we are kind of styling our sidebar. The sidebar is flex of 50% of the screen, and the height is the whole height of the screen. Okay, maybe if I put this one to be 900, can be darker. It looks like it's more. We can play with the colors, okay, the way we want. We can always do that later. Okay, let me put a text color of white. Text color of white. So this should be seen better now. It should be seen better. Okay. Now that we have this, we already have, we are continuing with the structure of this. Okay. Let's see what we then have. We have home, we have inventory, we have home, we have all of these. Okay, with this, we are going to need all of these icons. We don't necessarily have to use the exact icons as they are used here. Okay, but we are going to try as much as possible to be close in the icons that we use. And this is the reason why we install React icons, Lucid React, and those were the icons packages that I installed in the start of the project. Okay, so for now, let me have what we have here. Okay, probably is a good time to begin to import some of the icons. So let's go importing icons. On the icons, I did a research, try to get which icon will be best for our project. So I will be importing. No, we don't need file hat. I'll be importing home. I'll be importing for home. I'll be importing fi home. Okay, and that will be coming from React. That will be coming from React. We should have React here. React icons. Okay, if I'm finding it kind of hard, let me just type it out. From React icons. So we have fhome, we have fi box, we have fi. By the way, it should be coming from, yes, React fi, and this is fi shopping. It's a shopping cart. Another one that is needed here is a fi file, file text, and fi book open. The next is a fi chevron. Chevron down. Okay. So we have all of these, And another icon that we will be needing is that we are going to take it from React imports. It's coming from TFI. Okay, TFI plug. Okay, and that is coming from React icons of TFI. React icons of TFI. Okay. Let me just copy and paste this to make it fast. We'll be needing some more icons from React MD. And those ones are our MD chevron left. Yes, it's this one, chevron left, and MD outline. That's an outline shopping. Okay, outline shopping cart checkout. Let me see whether I can quickly get it. Check out this. Okay. We can play around with icons, even with some of other icon libraries, maybe like Euro icons or material UI icons. Okay, it's left to us as individuals. But basically, let's begin to use this. If there is reason to change some of the icons in the future as we go along in the tutorial series, we can still do so. Okay, so now that we have all our icons, or at least some of the basic icons that are needed, okay, I will like to do this. Okay, so in my sidebar, by the way, let's see what we have. We should still have our, yes, nothing should be breaking. Okay, in here we have home, inventory, sales, and here we have some sub menus. These are coming with some sub menus, right? And so these are standing alone. Okay, so basically what we are going to do is we are going to utilize some state management, whereby when a particular icon is being visited, like here, we can see here we are having home is having a blue background, and when we come here, if I click on item, we can see this inventory changing to blue, and this item, okay, is the background changes to blue. Okay, that is going to be managed by our state management, and that is why useStateHawk was imported here from React icon to start with. So let me quickly create some constant variables or function. In this particular case, it's actually functions. Open menu, this or menus, this can be called whatever, however you want to name it. Okay, but it's always usually helpful to name it so that it's people are able to see what they are used for. Use state. Okay, so the initial state is going to be an empty object like we have here. Then I can then bring in my we are actually using path name as a hook, right? So const path name. let it be equal to this. Once I save it, I'm going to close and the router is the next one. Const router, which is going to be use router. You don't start with a capital for a use router. Okay, so we have these three. So what we are going to have, we are going to be utilizing our path name. We took it from use path name from next navigation. We have our use router and all that. Okay, so now our sidebar, like I said, we want to have a way of getting this stuff done. Okay, from our inventory on top here, let me quickly, okay, let me explain one more thing. I am going to create our menus. We are going to declare them as variables that we can later on map on. We map onto it, then we iterate and list what we have here, okay, on the UI. But here is not going to be part of it. This is a kind of standing alone, is like a logo, so to say, you see, that stays when we scroll here. Okay, so that's an inventory. I can start on our sidebar by putting that inventory there. Okay, let me say we are going to have it as this inventory, and that inventory is coming with an icon, right? There is an icon to read, which is an inventory. Okay, maybe we can utilize this MD outline shopping cart checkouts. Oh, by the way, let me go to React icon quickly. Let's check out some carts. Okay. I don't know which of the carts are, but the truth is, for now, we can just use any cart, actually. Let me use this outline and see. Let's use it. Our outline is coming from the sidebar, and we want to utilize it here. Okay, so we are going to be using this as a component. Okay, and since this is a component and we have this, I want to be able to space it. So let me put this in a span. It's not a cap, it's just put it in a span tag. Let me put it in a span tag. Okay. And for now, if we come to our project, okay, you can see. So what we need to do to make this not necessarily, you can see what is happening here now currently. Perhaps I need to zoom. Okay. What is currently happening is this. Our inventory, they should be side by side, right? So because they are being kept inside of my h1 tag, I can add a class name. Let's make it to be flex, so it's now side by side, and give a gap x, our x axis of 2. Let's see what we have. Okay, we can see that our icon is closer to the top than this. Okay, what that means is let's send items to center. Items center. This should adjust it to what we want. At least for now, let's continue. Okay, now that that has been put in place. Okay, what we need to realize according to here is we have one here is standing alone, and I have another div that is containing all of this, and we have another one that is having this button. Okay, like in this tutorial, I don't even want to put all of this. It's not necessary. We don't want to put this. Part of it is not necessary. Okay, but we need to put this icon that closes, yes, that closes this nav bar. Okay, when it's clicked, we only have the icons. Okay, when it's open, we have the icons and the titles, the names, or the text. Okay, so what it means, I'm going to break this one side into not into 3, really into 2. Why I want to break it into 2 is because there is a huge gap that we are going to have between here and this content. So I'm making this to be 1 and making this other one to be 2, so that I can use Tailwind CSS class to make this fix to the bottom without a problem. Okay, so I'm coming to this here. Okay, so as it is now, on my side, we have on the sidebar of aside tags, we have only one div. Okay, that is housing this. So let me quickly create another div. Okay, and this div, for now, let me just say bottom. Okay, you see, it's bottom, but I want it to be seated right here. How we can do that is that I should then come to the parent div. So on the parent div, okay, we already have all of this. So in the parent div, okay, let's justify justify between. After sending it justify between, we see this, it's already at the bottom. Okay, what we have here, it's an icon, which is that icon is, let's see whether we have imported the icon that we are gonna need here. Chevron down. Okay, it must be this. So our chevron left is what we need here. So instead of having it as to type in bottom here, we are going to be importing this component, md left, md chevron. Let's see, it's reloading. Yes, we already have it, but we want it in the center, right at the center. So let's do the styling here. Class name, it's a flex, justify center. This should centralize, yeah, it should make it center. A little bit of padding of y of 2. Let me see. Yeah, it's kind of brilliant, but Let's see. Yeah, maybe it's too hard. Okay. Otherwise, we don't even have to use padding uh X, Y axis. We can just use padding bottom. That is fly out from the bottom. Okay, let's see. Let's use padding X. It's okay. Padding Y is fine, but maybe 1.5 instead of 2 would do the job. Okay. If there is any need to adjust later, it's all we are welcome to do so. Okay, so far we have this. So far we have this. Okay. And we are still going to do all of this. Okay, so the next thing is and don't worry, we are going to work on this styling properly later. Okay, but so far we have this. So the next is to have our home inventory, sales, purchases, and all that. Okay, so in here, what I'm going to have, like I said earlier, is to kind of declare a variable, an array of variables where, sorry, an array of objects, okay, where we can list this. Okay, so I'm going to create an array of objects. Const, let's call it nav items. That's navigation items, which is equal to this array. Okay, and inside of the array, I'm going to have a couple of objects. Let me say label home. I labeled home and href. This is where href. This is where we are going to be linking these two. When home is clicked, where we want to go. Dashboard. Okay, after the dashboard, we go to home. Remember the stuff. Okay, and since our navigations are having icons, they are having icons beside the text. Okay, so it means we need to have an icon declare as well. Okay. Okay. So for our home, this is where we need our icon that we imported earlier on. Fi home. It's a self-closing tag. Okay. I need to put a class name, a width of I think 5 we do, and the same height of 5. Okay, if it's too small or big, we can adjust accordingly. Okay, so this is the basic structure of all the objects that we are going to have. So I'm going to pause the video and type in all the other such that we don't have to waste a lot of time. Okay. Okay, so I have all the menu objects typed out, like we did this one, and on the inventory, okay, I put in the icon, okay, and I then declare another array of objects inside of these children. Okay, why? Because when we look at our, and the same thing is this, and we have the same thing for the purchases, and on integration is different. Okay, this is basically just structured, okay, the way we want, I mean, the way they appear here, okay. Uh, if you have basic understanding of objects and arrays in any programming languages, particularly JavaScript, that is not going to be difficult for you to understand. Otherwise, this is what we'll need. Okay, for now, we might need to refactor, tweak here and there this code as we progress with the with the with the lessons. Okay, so right now we have these ones typed out. Okay, so we are going to continue with it. If I come to our project, FI trending hub is not defined. Okay, what is trending up? Okay, we need to import this as well. Okay, I need to import trending up. Okay, I actually forgot that. Okay, and our trending up is coming from, okay, no, it's not supposed to be another, because it's an, let me check again. It's FI. We already have FI done, imported here, so it should just come here. Trending up. We have, okay, we don't have any error again. Okay, no, that's fine. The next thing is, okay, let's create a way to map that into bin. This is coming here. Okay. Now that we have this, may I? Okay. Okay. I get a class name. Okay. Okay, now that we have this, okay, now that we have this, let me okay, so I'm going to declare a semantic nav here. Okay, with a class, let's give some classes. Obviously, we need to flex and flex as column, and maybe a padding of 2, padding y of 2, give some gap of 5, and padding x of 3, padding x of 3, and inside of these nav tags, this is where we are going to then map through our navigation items. Okay, this one. Okay. To map through, we need to put it inside of curly bracket nav items. to tell React that we want to now use JavaScript. So our knife items is gonna be mapped. Okay, once we are mapping, we need this item. Okay, and this item can be called anything. Can call it anything. You can call it XYZ 0, whatever I need. I can call it so. It will work, but it makes sense to just have it as an item because they are menu items, okay, that are coming from our menu items. We are mapping through it. Okay, once I'm doing, I need to do this. Now, there is something that I need to show. Okay, since we have several array of objects here, and they don't follow the same structure. Okay, some of them has children, like here. Okay, as a value, why some don't have. Okay, so as a result of that, this is going to work by declaring, by mapping through them, and looking for something that I'm declaring this now has children. I'm going to find out if it has a children. If it does have a children, okay, or child at least, and is active, okay, this is going to be used for a menu that is active in order for us to be able to switch the background color, okay, in future. So if is active, then let us get the href. Okay, all of our variables here, all of the objects rather, they are having okay, this is href, and these ones are not, because these ones are not linking to anything. We just want to make them drop down, then we take their href here where they are linking to. Okay, so that's why we say if it has children and is active, let's see what the item.href looks like. Okay, or if it does has children, or have children, and an item.children, if it does have children, and item.children.sum, okay, the sum is coming from JavaScript. Let's see what the child looks like. Okay, and this is then going to be declared as is active. And what about the one is active? Then let's see what it is. Child. Okay, let me see whether I've not made any blunder here. Okay, this is the closing tag of this one. Okay, everything still seems to be okay. Okay, once this is done, okay, then I need to return. Then return. What are we returning? This is here we return. Let me just return a simple div. Okay, when I return a simple div, Our simple div is going to have a key before we declare the key. Okay. Then after this, we want to see whether the parent is active, right? So if the parent is active, that is to say the parent item. The parent item is active, which I'm going to say parent okay, is active. If parent is active, then that is when it has this. Okay. If parent is active, okay, it means it has children and is active. We want to display the link href where we are going to link into, or it has children and item.children.sum of the child is active. So we take in the child.active, child ref. Okay. After this, we declare we are returning, actually returning the array to the UI. Okay. This array has a key prop, and the key prop, a unique identifier here will just be, we can use the label item.label because each label are unique. Okay. Okay, maybe some class name to just space it out. Let me just use space of y of maybe 1 or thereabout. Let's see what we have. We're still having issues. Let me restart it first to be sure. I am done typing in the code, okay, that are necessary for the sidebar to open. Let's see. Okay, our active, if it's active, we are taking is taking in an arrow function with one argument, and we are setting it to the path name. Oh, okay, so let's see what our nav menu looks like now. Here we are now making use of our motion and animate presence. Okay, animate presence is initially declared as false. Okay, and we map through if we have children and is open, and only then should you motion in this UL. Okay, and we throw in or mapping through the children with a key label on an li element. Okay. As the project goes on, we might need to change our li to link. Okay, so in order to control the behavior of reloading page or reloading the DOM. Okay, so so far let's check. Okay, our navigation bar, menus are being listed now. Okay. Okay, it's not what we want as of now. Okay. By the way, Okay, let me reduce. Okay, so we can now see, but when I click on this, nothing is being open. Okay, it means we need to manage the state. Okay, simply by I'm just trying to zoom it a little bit again. Okay, we need to work on, like earlier on, remember we declare some state, we're trying to use this state variable, and okay, so now why our menus are not working is because we have not attached. Let me quickly declare the variables to make this work. I'm going to toggle, okay, my sidebar. Okay, let me put it after it's active. Where is it's active? Okay, okay. Okay, so let's throw in, no, actually before. Where we put it, it does not matter anyway, but let me put it before. It makes more sense to be up. So I want to toggle, menu. If I toggle menu, okay, I take in the label as an argument in the function. Then let me take, okay, set open menus that was previously declared. Take the previous, okay, the pref of it should be returned. Let me return it as an object where we spread out our pref. Okay, then we take the label. Okay, otherwise it is not labeled. Okay, so our toggle menu function is declared as this. We are passing in an argument of label, and we set open menus to pref. This is coming as an argument, and we, as a param rather, and we are spreading it out, the ones we currently have on the state, and we are appending whatever label, setting the label when it is clicked, when it's open. When it's not open, then it is not the label. Nothing will be able to, should be displayed. Okay, that is what our toggle menu will simply is handling there. Okay, I can open it again. Okay, so this is where our function ends. Okay, and another function that we then need is going to be the one to handle, okay, the navigation itself. Okay, this one is equally taken in an href as argument, and this is gonna be mapped. Okay, this is now when we need the router. It's not declared as an object. Then router. I take the router, then I push in the href. Okay, and our push object here is coming from the router that we use router. Okay, is coming from use router. Remember, we declared this router. We are taking using this use router hook that is that we're getting from next navigation. Okay, so we push in the href. Whatever value that is passed into the undo navigation from here is then passed in here. Okay, and I think from what we now have, yes, from now on we can have this. This is currently not as style as we have this, but we are getting close. We are getting close. And now, what I can do now is in my inventory, what do we have? Items group, inventory adjustment. Okay, so I can go back to my inventory here. Okay, then I have this, so I can then actually change, because these are actually main placeholders that I declared earlier on. Okay, so here we have our inventory, items, item groups, inventory adjustment. So let's do that. Inventory item. Okay, before we are particular about the href, the links, let's just put in the text first. So items group, item groups, inventory adjustment. And I will only do this, and I'll pause the video while I do these other ones, such that we keep the video not unnecessarily long. Okay, so by the way, so let me put in items groups. Okay, so okay, so that it can be clear to you, we are saying inventory, which is this label, as a parent, and these are children label. Okay, so what I will say is, where we have this label inventory, that is what, oh sorry, that's not our hub, that is what we are having here, inventory. Okay, but when I open it, I have product and stock levels. These are what? These are labels of the children label. Okay, so if I then want it to be what? Items, from inventory, items, item groups, inventory adjustment. Okay, to be honest, to be better for me to do it quicker, so I have items, and I have items groups. This we are going to use 3. Oh, I should have copied the one with items so that I don't have to. Item groups. And the third one being inventory adjustments. Inventory adjustments. Okay, those are levels, right? Okay. I'm looking at the href, inventory adjustment. Okay, this one is adjustment. Okay, plural. Item groups and items for now. Inventory items. Okay, so already our app should be having this now, but we can see this is being kind of hidden. We are going to use a Tailwind class to make everything seen properly. For now, let's just continue. Okay, like I said, I am going to pause the video now such that I can type in all of this, just like you saw me do on the inventory. Okay. So now what I did behind the scenes, or behind the scene is I typed in all the menus, okay, in here according to as we have them on the three. Okay, adjustment according to as we have them in the main project here. So I just follow all of this. Okay, and after that I noticed that okay, I'm trying to look for the class. Okay, padding left. So, and I adjusted this padding left from 9 to 2 because when I have it as 9, when we have the padding left to be 9, you can see. Okay, so this is what I said I was going to adjust later on. That is not necessary. We have a lot of real estate here that we can space that can be used. So I then try to change it to padding left of 2, and this is now what we have. Okay, so basically so far we have this menu. So okay, so with what we currently have, in order not to make this lesson too long, I might be stopping here, and we wait until we work on the second lesson, which is going to be tomorrow. Okay, so where we are going to be working on adding this nav bar as we have here.